Las Vegas history doesn't go as far back as you might think it does. When looking through data on Ursus.com, something caught my eye. So normally we have population history back to 1900 for every city in the US, but for Clark County it only goes back to 1910, which is when the census counted the area for the first time. And for clarity, the first census was conducted in 1790. Las Vegas wasn't originally founded until 1905. Then, Clark County doesn't even get established until 1908, being subdivided away from Lincoln County. So at this point, we, Ursus.com, don't have any population history on the city or the county like we do every other city in the country because they barely existed yet. So finally, in 1910, the first census is conducted and we finally have a population count. A whopping 3,321 people. And for some comparison, in 1900, Austin had 47,000 people, Salt Lake City had 78,000 people, and established cities like Boston already had 600,000 people. But to be fair, Vegas is in the middle of a desert, and the Hoover Dam hadn't been constructed yet, so resources aren't plentiful. But even after considering that, the dam finished construction in 1931, and even over the last 20 years, the population stayed pretty stagnant. But during that 20-year period, a lot of jobs came through, especially because of the dam, so a couple of post offices opened, a couple of casinos opened, and also the airport we use today is opened. So then 1950 rolls around, and the population is still about 48,000 people 45 years later. But this is when it really starts to take off. 1951 is when Paradise is created, separating it from Las Vegas so Las Vegas can't tax it the way it does the rest of the city. And just in case you didn't know, Paradise is where the famous Las Vegas Strip is located, with all the famous casinos and shopping malls. Yeah, the Vegas Strip is technically not in Vegas. So this is the period where Vegas really starts to boom. The casinos get taller, the lights get brighter. Over 100 years later, since 1908, Clark County now has over 2 million residents. Much bigger than all three cities I compared it to earlier. I just find it so interesting that a desolate piece of land with so much less time to develop is now one of the biggest economies and biggest populations in the country. And not only that, but world famous for its activities. All the data used comes from Ursus.com, and be sure to follow if you want to learn more things like